Hi guys, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. I just want to tell you guys today's topic is going to cover 5 mistakes that people make when purchasing land to homestead. We're also going to cover a couple of myths. One of them being that you have to have a big farmhouse and a whole lot of land to be a homesteader. Well, I'm going to bust that myth wide open for you today. So we appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Watch to the end for a free tip. All right, everybody, get your pen and paper and let's get started. The first mistake that people make when purchasing land to homestead is location. Doesn't matter if you like the state. Doesn't matter if you like the weather. Here's what really matters. What are the food policy laws in that state? Are there any livestock regulations? How about, is the sheriff behind homesteaders? Because we do have a short on that, and it's something that you might want to look into. Can you have a weapon? Now, a lot of you are going to say, why do I need a weapon to homestead? Catch our videos on our rabbitry being attacked by 7 stray dogs. So guys, a weapon is a big, big part of homesteading. Whether you like that or not, it is a reality of homesteading. The next thing would be, what are the private property laws in that state? What does it say about you having privacy on your property? You having the right to slaughter your animals on your property? Those are the most important things about location, in my opinion, because I honestly believe that you can garden homestead anywhere if the law is behind you. But if the government or the state won't allow you to do the things that you need to do, then you just wasted your money on purchasing property in that state. The second mistake that I see people making when they're purchasing land to homestead is size. Everybody wants land, but infrastructure and startup costs are huge for this lifestyle, guys. Some things I've noticed is everybody's like, how much land do I need to homestead? How much land do you have? Because no matter where you are, we can show you how to homestead on that property that you already have or on small acreage. So don't let size be the determining factor on whether or not you purchase land to homestead. The third mistake that people make when purchasing land to homestead is very easy. They move. Yep, you heard me right. They move. Guys, if you aren't already learning to homestead right where you are, you can homestead in a city. You can homestead in an apartment. You can homestead on 1/8 of an acre of land. So if you want applying homesteading practices already where you're located, don't move. Start learning about what you're fixing to get into before you purchase the land. Mistake number 4 that I see people make when purchasing land to homestead: debt. I can always look at analytics on YouTube, so I can always tell where I lose viewers. And the majority of you are going to turn me off right now. Do not go into debt to homestead. Don't do it. This is not that type of lifestyle, guys. This is make it or break it. Okay? So let's talk about that. Say you purchase land. Say you get 7 acres and it costs you $60,000. Whether or not, and that means it probably is no permanent fixture, no home on that property. Now you have to worry about providing a home for yourself and your family. Well, that could run you anywhere from $25,000 to another $100,000. Now let's talk about getting water to that property. City water or well water, you still have to have water. You have to have adequate and legal sewage. That could cost you another $10,000 or $15,000. Then, because you want a homestead, the more acreage you have, the more animals you think that you're going to need. The more acreage you have, the more you're going to be convinced that you cannot homestead without a tractor. The more acreage that you have is going to be the more time that you're going to spend cutting grass, weeding your garden, tending your animals, and then you still have to cook, clean, And most of you work another job because you went in debt to Homestead. So you really need to think that through. I always tell everybody, homesteading is about sustainability, okay? If you are feeling panic and you're like, I need to homestead because the cost of food is going up, the cost of everything is going up, I need to leave the city, I need a homestead. I totally understand. Why do you think I homestead? Here's the problem with that, guys. The cost of everything is going up. So what happens, and most of us that want a homestead truly believe the bottom in the economy is going to fall out, that we're moving into a Great Depression, correct? Yes. We know what's coming. Like, we feel it in our bones. But if you go in debt to get that dream, if you go in debt to get your land and everything crashes like we all honestly believe it probably will do, how are you going to continue covering the mortgage on that property? So essentially, you're going to be homeless. And you're going to be worse off than if you just stayed where you are, paid off all your debt, cut your credit cards up, and saved to purchase the land with cash. Which means you might not get that 7 acres for $60,000. Okay? What it means is you might be like my husband and I, and you buy a mobile home in a really rural area with 2 acres, and you start recycling, upcycling, and repurposing everything. It means that you start with 3 rabbits and you stay with rabbits for an entire year until you create sustainable loop systems and people that will purchase from you so that the rabbits are now paying for themselves and not costing you any more money. Then you're going to learn to add red wigglers or chickens or quail, and you're going to do the same thing. You're not going to get any more animals until all the animals on your property pretty much have natural feed loops so you can feed them off your property because the cost of feed is going up. You have buyers for the products that you're outputting. So that is what I'm talking about. If you purchase land with a mortgage, land in a home with a mortgage, then use a credit card to set up your homestead, and then you have to go to work to pay all your bills. Your feed cost is probably going to cost you, I'm going to take a guesstimate here, of about $400 a week for a few large and several small livestock. Because you're depending on your credit cards. You haven't set up sustainable loops. You haven't had time because you're working and trying to upkeep all this land. So that's what I mean. Debt is the 4th biggest problem. And honestly, in my opinion, it's the 1st. But if I'd have started with that, you'd have turned the video off right then. I know, because this seems to be the most unpopular topic, and very few homesteaders are being honest to you about it. The more views they get, they can monetize their channel. Therefore, they're making money off of you watching them. They're not telling you that. They're not telling you they want your view. So they're going to give you a catchy title and partial information. So I want you to be educated. So if you don't want to hear the truth, turn me off. Because guys, I'm telling you, if you go in debt for this type of lifestyle, you're not going to be able to hold on to it when everything crashes. All right, moving on. 5th mistake I see people make when purchasing land to homestead. They move their family away from friends, family, amenities, and needed services. In other words, what happens when your kid's learning how to use an axe and they accidentally hit their foot with it? How long is it going to take an ambulance to get to you, or can they even bring in an air med to you? Is that even possible to land air med near you? How far is it to the nearest real emergency room? And I'm not talking like where I'm from. It'll take me 15 minutes in an emergency to get to a small emergency room that can basically do nothing for you. There's no surgical suites. There's no MRI. There's no CAT scan. It's just a doctor that they have to call to come in and a bunch of nurses. Would that save your life? Probably. But you have to think about that. The nearest large emergency room to where I live right now is 45 minutes one way in any direction. So, again, really think through that. The nearest Walmart, 25 to 30 minutes either direction. The nearest dollar store, at least 10 minutes. And that's if I don't get behind the slowest person around here. It could be 12 minutes to get there one way. And there's only one grocery store in my entire parish, which I'm proud to say we actually sell vegetables to. So that's what I want you to think about. The 5 mistakes that I'm seeing people make when they purchase land to homestead. 1, location. 2, size. 3, why move if you can homestead where you're at? 4, going in debt. And 5, moving their family to an area that they're unfamiliar with and they don't have any support. This is not a lifestyle for the faint of heart, guys. The learning curve in homesteading is steep. There is very little room in your finances, in your physical ability, in your mental ability for mistakes. Your mistakes cost a life. Whether that life be animal or person, your mistakes can cost life. And it can be extremely heartbreaking. But it is so rewarding. So I encourage you today, if you're feeling the urge to homestead, do it. Just do it knowing what you're getting into. Do it with the understanding that if both you and the person you're doing with this are working, you guys are going to be working and then coming home and you're going to be working. So you need to have one person full time on your homestead. I manage 2 full acres while my husband works 40 plus hours a week. And guys, I can tell you what, this is no easy job. There's a lot of things I simply just have to wait for him to get home. And that 3 subject notebook comes out. And I'm like, honey, here are the emergency things you must do. Here are the things I would like done. But I am here all day, tending the garden, tending all the animals, tending all the sales, taking all the classes, doing all the YouTube. That's my end of it. So we work, and we work very hard, but we are debt-free on 2 acres in an Alpha Omega farm model. So you can look through all of our different playlists on homesteading and farmsteading, because we are technically a farmstead. We have videos out on that. I explain all the differences. But if you're going to homestead, guys, you're really going to have to make some serious decisions. You need to do it with your eyes open, okay? Like my dad said, so many people are getting into homesteading because it's a fairy tale in their mind. It's a way to remove themselves from the craziness of this world, and I totally get it. That's why I do it. But you're bringing the same habits from that life into this one, and they don't mesh well, guys. Debt is no way to start a homestead. When my husband and I bought this property, we got the title put in our name, but I still owed the gentleman across the street, literally across the street. So I bought it for a little bit of money. So I had an itemized payment schedule with him, 0% interest. The land was still mine. It was in our names. But before I ever bought or put money into any animals or into gardening or anything else, I paid him off first so that I was debt free. We never had credit cards, even to begin with. And when I tell you that we have done all of this completely debt free, guys. We're set up as a Louisiana agro-tourism farm. We can accept SNAP, EBT, senior vouchers. We do tours. We now do YouTube. We sell to individuals. We sell to grocery stores. We sell at farmers markets. But it has taken me 2.5 years. I work with the USDA and RCS. I work with Campty Field of Dreams. I work with CLETA out of Alexandria, Louisiana. I work with a lot of people and a lot of farms. And I take as many classes as I can get my hands on, because this is not the life I led. I was an educator and a mom. I was not a farmer or a homesteader. So, like I said, the learning curve is steep, guys. This is not an easy life. And if you guys did not see Tomatoes or Jerks, the newest video we put out right before this one, you should watch that. Because in it, I literally start to laugh. And I tell you that I fully expected my tomatoes to be my moneymaker this year in my market garden. And tomatoes are jerks. I'm not going to really make much money off of those. In fact, if I had a mortgage and I had used my credit card to get all that set up, I'd be throwing up right now because I'd be like, holy smokes, look at the money I lost. Instead, I can laugh about the fact that I did make a little money. And I can still sleep at night because even though the tomatoes are jerks, it's not going to make the difference in whether or not my bills get paid or my animals get fed. Sustainable loop systems. Stay out of debt. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We would like for you guys to row in our boats or boat, and we would like to row in your boat. We have a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by September 1st, and we hope and pray you guys will become one of those. So y'all have a blessed day. I'm asking that if you're wanting to homestead or you're already homesteading, that you put a little bitty farm animal in the comments so that I know that you watched. Coming to you from Starkey Farmstead in St. Helena Parish, Louisiana.